India, in association with BODHI International Journal of Research Humanities, Arts and Science, India, an online peer-reviewed, refereed and quarterly journal. Let us begin this event by paying a tribute to our Tamil Thai. Let us all rise up for the Tamil Thai Varthu.
நீராறும் கடலொடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமெதில் தெக்கனமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறைநுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திரும்பி எந்த செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Seated.
Dr. P. Nagaraj, Professor and Head of the Department of English and Foreign Languages, Bharathiar University, expertises in the area of thinking cognition.
Organized by our department in association with the Indian Council for Cultural Relationship, Bangalore, and Gandhi SMRITI and DARSHAN SMRITI, GSDS, New Delhi, Ministry of Culture, Government of Operation with a reputed BODHI International Journal of Research and Humanities, Arts and Science, India. At the outset, I'm really happy in giving a welcome note on this two-day international conference. And at the outset, I don't want to miss the name of the personalities who are here offline and online. Just mentioning out the important personalities witnessing this great occasion and sharing their expertise. The Kasirajan, the organizing secretary of this program, Professor Dr. Barni ma'am, the advisor for Center for International Affairs, then our guest of honor, Sri Pardeep Kumar, the Director, Zonal Head, Indian Council for Cultural Relationship, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, Bangalore. Really honored to have you amidst this wonderful occasion, sir. Professor Dr. John, the Associate Professor, retired from the Research Department of English, the American College, Madurai, and my own friend and a senior colleague, Dr. Padmanabhan, the Associate Professor, and my friend, he's going to give an online session in the inaugural session, Dr. Sendilnathan, Academic Staff College, MMRTC Director, and the Professor from the Education Department, Bharathiar University, and the BODHI Journal President, Dr. S. Balakrishnan, the publisher and the managing editor, and my colleague, Dr. Ashita Varghese, Dr. David Attudraj, Dr. Vinod Kumar, and there are n number of keynote speakers as well. On this occasion, I would like also to reiterate the august presence of a senior faculty and mentor professor at the department, Dr. Chakravarti sir, and Dr. John Sekhar sir, the author of the book, 18 or 19th book. This is the 19th book, is going to release from our department. Then we also do have expertise like Susil Mary, then Devarajulu Reddy, and I have my own friend, Professor Dr. Neelakandan, then a keynote special speaker for tomorrow, Dr. Prabhakaran sir, Professor and Head from Department of English, MS University, and Professor Ilamaran, retired from PSG Arts College, and Professor Bhaskaran sir is going to give a session tomorrow. So the Samuel Rufus from the Department of English, Madras Christian College. The number of the keynote speakers and the chairpersons, it goes on and on. But then, I've given in the program agenda, I've especially given each and every individual representation for the people who have given their heart and soul for the wonderful outcome of this journal. And I have amidst us Professor Dr. Sadasivam, Center for International Affairs, the coordinator, and I have amidst us Professor Vijayan sir and Professor Arulsami sir and my own colleague, Shanmugam from the CA office. I deem it a privilege again to welcome all the delegates, the paper presenters, both online and offline paper presenters. I think, in the concept note, I think the secretary would be giving a detailed information regarding. Yesterday, when I had a little chat with the president, the BODHI journal, he said that we had received papers, not even a small space left, but then across India, almost from Delhi, from the Dravidian Society, then from Delhi, northern states. So not even spared even a single state. That way, it was an overwhelming response from the paper presentation participants, both offline and online. And one of the advantage of the integration of technology, as we have rightly mentioned, like, in the agenda, in the conference note, it's going to be hybrid mode. So I could see that more than the offline presentations, there are number of personalities, who would like to come online and do their deliberations, both the speakers and paper presenters. In that way, I think, my job with the machine and, much physical, the traditional means by which, we inaugurate and, conduct program, it's been compromised, like from Poo column and, welcome, the welcoming reception. So no formalities as such, and then we are going out with almost, a machine learning experience. And I'm thinking, this is going to be a lovely 2-day coming together, all academicians from different forums and sharing their expertise on different experience and expertise they do possess on language, literature, and culture. And on this occasion, I wish to acknowledge the presence of the director, Zonal Head, ICCR, Pardeep Kumar sir. Today morning, I had, after he had taken the charge of the director, ICCR, I had been, and myself and Professor Sada Sivam sir, we've been frequenting to the Indian Council, the zonal office Bangalore, in connection to the Center for International Affairs. That way, I got myself associated to this lovely personality. And today morning, a casual interaction, I could really see what our thought process we had been spelled out in our 2-day conference, language, literature, and what culture has to do with language and literature. This gentleman is literally practicing it in his profession as well. He sees to that a number of foreign students, come over to Indian context for the higher education learning, promoting at the same time our Indian tradition, culture, the values, system across globe. So he plays a very key role in building intra-cultural relationship and international cultural relationship in a larger extent. And he had shared one key information today morning is that, yes, it's an information that everyone are well aware of. The fact is that he stressed that today, in connection to the higher education, learning and job opportunities, the youth of Indian nation largely migrating to the other worlds. And this is what a saddened plight which he had envisages, saying that in another 10 years, if this thought process, if this condition goes on, then the plight of the Indian context, where we need young graduates graduating in Indian context and using their resource to the world countries, this is not a welcoming note. So he said, in the other day, he had a discussion last week, he was in Delhi, and he said, with the Ministry of Education and other External Affairs Minister, he had an orientation and discussion. And the present central government is keenly watching on what measures that we have to do in Indian context, so that we provide them, the youngsters, with the opportunity in Indian context and stop our intelligence movement across globe. So this is one thought process he said when he was in Delhi. Discussions among the higher educational platform. This one thought process, he said, this is not a welcoming note. And he was talking about so many cultural changes that had happened after the post-pandemic way in a period. There is a tremendous change, particularly he says, what he could visually see from the context of the metro cities. So many cultural changes. Whether these cultural changes are needed or welcoming, this is an era where we witness this drastic change in the cultural shift. So he says it is imperative that in the higher education context that we have to discuss and deliberate such serious issues that is literally happening at the his worry is at what's happening in the higher education system, and the reflection of whatever we do practice and preach in the higher education system, it is getting reflected in the society as well. So a small interaction, and whenever we reach to his office, he would always say, yes, next time onwards, I'm gonna give large number of students, international students, to the Center for International Affairs, and he had given the assurance the next time. And one challenge is, advisory is there, that he said, when we shortlist candidates, he says the speeding of identifying students, it should be done in a minutes fast. Sarmom is there. So from Bangalore itself, I said, we have to do it very fast. He said, call all the heads of department and see to that, give the eligibility criteria within 5 or 10 minutes, so that you will get number of foreign students on your campus, because all are doing it very fast. But then we take it little late, we do it, send to the heads of department, then we get the approval, and then we upload. So he says, do it fast, have a communication with your heads of department and see to that doing it fast. So, and today morning, it's really a honor his presence in this international conference. He said, traffic, in Bangalore city, I cannot take for granted. So he started from his home by 2:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30, called the driver. And this shows, how much, when getting the approval from, his movement has been checked by the central government. He has to get the approval from the government of India, he wants to go for. He has got the right to travel anywhere across globe, but then an approval has to be received from the center. So yesterday only by 2 o'clock, but earlier got the approval, but all his itineraries being worked out by the government of India, and he had taken and his willingness to be part of this program. And really, you're all honored, sir, by your presence today. And thank you so much for all the help you have been rendering to the Center for International Affairs. And on this occasion, he is the right person. He is the right person when we speak about so much happening across, particularly this shift in culture. And I think he is the person who is literally witnessing this cultural changes and cultural drifts happening across globe. And he is a person who mediates between different cultures. That is the beauty of this gentleman. And I'm happy and I welcome him on this beautiful occasion. I welcome each and every one. Like, we have Professor John Sayed, sir, an author of, this is the 19th book, sir? 19th book. Not easy. Every text produced, every text written is it's gonna speak volumes of this gentleman. So, really happy by his presence here. Authoring 19 books by a leading publisher is not a small thing. So, his after retirement, his academic acumen that he want to serve and give his idea by way of scripts. So honored by your presence here, sir, and Chakravarti sir, and a senior faculty. No one, whenever I travel with them, other universities, colleges, all would say that we had something during his tenure, and in academic, hardly few could miss and had their journey in higher education. In that way, a senior faculty here, Chakravarti sir, I welcome you, sir, on this occasion. And the BODHI journal, the president, and like running a journal, and if you see the schedule of his activities, 2 days before he had a session, collaborated with Madurai Kamaraj University, then Stella Mary's College, then again coming over here, then he has again few more conferences, not only at the national wide but at the international stage, like one working in Malaysia and another one coming up with the European countries. So working out, with the foreign universities collaborations in that way, I'm really happy that the department is associated with your sir. So honored by your presence on this occasion, and thank you and welcome for associating with our department. And secretary, no words, I don't have to say much. The organizing secretary. He is the organizing secretary, and he had taken pains in organizing, such a huge conference. That is where, I think, in the concept note, he will also stress on how many from different part of our nation and globe, had been the ideas we have received. And I am really happy to have amidst us Professor Dr. Barney Mann, the advisor for CIA. He is the founder of the CIA and still helping me on various spheres. And she had completed a lot of projects across globe, and a traveler, in our university, who could visit US in a month 2 times, like going to Coimbatore, local, that way. So her association with the foreign universities, and that really helps the center to grow in a huge way. Happy by your presence, ma'am. And happy to have amidst us my friend, Professor Neelagandan sir, and the other special invitees today here, and my own colleagues, any activities, and I just walk cool because they are beside me. and all my research scholars. And today morning, I was, yesterday when we were having a discussion on how to go about the program, I said, no formalities, no reception, no column, this, that. It's going to be technologically being integrated, this component, so need not. But then when I reached by 9 o'clock here, a few were working on the column, this and that. So it shows. And yesterday, all committees, they were on toes asking about how to go about with. More than me, they had taken up the responsibility and they were on the toes to what to do next. So I'm really, really thankful for all their efforts in connection with the conference, and special mention about my faculty members, Dr. Ashita Varghese, Dr. Vinod Kumar, Dr. Kasi Raj, Dr. David Arpudraj, and all my CA deputy coordinators, Shanmugam, research scholars. If I had left anyone, might be. The name is large, this contract for this conference. There are more number of speakers, chairpersons. I can list down. So many people are parallel session chairing from Sushil Mary and from Professor from Krishnamal, and head of department from Konganadu Arts and Science College. So like that, heads of department of various affiliated institutions, they are also being here to chair session. Thank each and everyone. This conference is the need of the hour. I don't want to speak much about how for language, literature and culture are so much so integrated. And I'm being taken away by the word changing world, more than language, literature and culture. Change is permanent, people would reside, but I always say change is changelessness or changes, changeless. And it is the individuals, we always say that we are going to bring in a lot of changes in society. That is the perception of thought always goes. But I would say if there is a change in the individual, then there will be always change in the society. So I would say that individuality or society, if there is a representation, I would always stress that it is the individual, then the society. If refinement changes happens with the individual, then need not think about society. Society does do, because individual is part and parcel of society. So that way, this conference is very relevant and need of the hour, and I'm pretty sure that this 2-day conference is gonna bring in a lot of resources to be impacted among the participants and the presenters, and with the keynote speakers and special speakers as well. So thank you each and everyone, and I welcome each and everyone who had directly or indirectly had contributed to this conference. Thank you and thanks so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your lovely words. And we are indeed very honored and happy to have all the eminent scholars among us today. And I would like to take a moment to first, thank you so much. And Dr. P. Nagaraj, head of the department, to honor our chief guest, Shri Pardeep Kumar. The BODHI Journal is an online peer-reviewed journal which sought to bring together academicians, scholars, and students who strive to advance their career and society with their ideas. Now, I cordially invite Dr. Pradeep Kumar to release the BODHI International Journal, Volume 9, with a special issue to Dr. Nagaraj and to Dr. Balakrishnan.
Thank you, everybody. Next, we have the release of yet another book by Dr. Jayara Janshekhar, English Syntax Sentence Structures Simplified. This book provides readers with comprehensive understanding of syntax that stretches from historical and contemporary frameworks. It bridges the gap between traditional and modern linguistic approaches to the syntax in English language. I request Shri Pradeep Kumar, sir, to release the book.
I request Dr. Kasi Rajan to honor our HOD, Dr. P. Nagaraj. Next, I request Shri Pradeep Kumar to honor our faculty, Dr. P. Nagaraj, Professor and Head, Dr. Padmanabhan, Assistant Professor, Dr. M. Ashita Varghese, Assistant Professor, Dr. Kasi Rajan, Assistant Professor, Dr. David Arpit, Assistant Professor, Dr. Vinod Kumar, and Dr. Anuchandran. Next, I request Dr. Pardeep Kumar, to honor the members of the Center for International Affairs, Bharathiar University, Dr. Bharani, Dr. Sadasivam, Dr. Vijayan, and Dr. Arul Sami. Please, sirs. Sir, I'd like you to honor Dr. John Shekhar, Dr. Chakravarti, Dr. Karthikeyan, and Dr. Neelakandan. Dr. Sumati. Ma'am. Next, we have the release of yet another book by Dr. Jera John Shaker, English Syntax, Sentence, Structure and Simplified. We would like to have Sri Pardeep sir to present the book to John Shaker sir. Thank you so much. Dr. Kasi Rajan, Assistant Professor, Department of English and Foreign Languages, Bharathiar University, has concentrated his research on the areas of post-colonial and Indian literature, along with English language teaching. We welcome Professor Kasirajan to introduce us to the concept note.
Thank you so much. So most respected professors, dignitaries on the dais, research scholars, participants from the other colleges or other students, good morning to all. So I'm going to read the concept note of the conference. It's with great excitement that I represent the vibrant academic community at Bharathiar University to present the concept note for this two-day international conference on reimagining the English language, literature and cultures in changing world. This conference assures to be a significant event that emerges our minds and inspires collective actions of the conference. As an assistant professor deeply involved in English language and identity literary studies of conferences, I am particularly excited about the potential of the conference to ignite the crucial conversations. So we live in a world dramatically reshaped by globalizations, technology, and shifting cultural landscapes. English as a global lingua franca plays a vital role in navigating these complexities. It is no longer simply a language, it's a dynamic force, shaping identities, mediating cultural exchange, and reflecting the very pulses of our times. This conference isn't just another academic gathering, it's a call to action and invitations to collectively reimagine the very foundations of our discipline. How can we, as educators, researchers, and the students, harness its power, fosters understanding, promote inclusively, and addresses the pressing challenge facing our world? Think about it, the way we teach literature, the theories employed to analyze a culture, the very definitions of English studies itself, all are constantly evolving. Digital tools are transforming our classrooms and research methodologies. Intercultural communications is no longer an abstract concept, but a daily reality. And the need to address issues like diversity, sustainability, and the social justice through our work has been more urgent. This conference aims to bring together scholars, research, and students from across the globe to share innovative ideas, challenges conventional wisdom, and forges new pathways for research and collaborations. As reimagining the English language, literature, and cultures, that means the recognizing their diversity and complexities. So language should be as a tool for communications and social changes, with an understanding of how it connects to the power and identity in literature. It involves decolonizing the traditional canons and embracing the diverse of voices and perspectives. So examining the historical and cultural forces that have shaped. So reimagining English cultures requires the explorations of its diversity and the power of dynamics influencing cultural narratives, focusing on the intersections of social, cultural, and historical contexts. As educators and scholars, we hold the responsibilities to not just understand, but also the questions and redefine the paradigm of govern our field. This gathering will provide a space for networking, fostering academic partnership that can extend beyond the 2 days. Your participation is vital for the discussions and the pushing the boundaries of understanding. In closing, I invite each of you to join us in this enriching scholars gathering. I invite you all to actively participate, to share our insights, and to join us in shaping the futures of English language, literature, and cultures in this ever-changing world. So thank you so much for giving the wonderful opportunity to me. I welcome you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for introducing us to the concept. Dr. G. Bharani, Associate Professor, Advisor, Bharathiar University Center for International Affairs, Bharathiar School of Management and Entrepreneur Development, BSMED, specializes in entrepreneurship and marketing and teaching courses that include managerial economics, service marketing, digital marketing, and many more. Ma'am, I request you to introduce Shri Pradeep Kumar, Director, Zonal Head PD, Zonal Office South, Indian Council for Cultural Relations, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, Bangalore, to the gathering.
Very good morning, one and all gathered here. I deem it a privilege to be a part of this 2 days international conference conducted by Department of English and Foreign Languages and introducing Shri Pradeep Kumar sir and also the functioning of ICCR to the august audience on behalf of my team of BU Center for International Affairs. Thank you, Professor Dr. Nagarajan sir, for always considering me in all your activities and giving us this honor to be a part of this academic endeavor. To decode the secret about what sir said about me in the introduction of my short visits to USA, my visit, the extent of my visit is directly associated with the debit that happens in my savings bank and nothing else. The shorter, the better. I save a lot. And no more. Okay, so that is it. And we have with us Shri Pradeep Kumar sir. He is the Zonal Director of Indian Council for Cultural Relations. It comes under the Ministry of External Affairs. Sir had been, he has had a long stint with ICCR. And he had been on a delegation to Thailand representing in India between 2011 to 2016. And he had been in Bangladesh representing India in its cultural office, Indira Gandhi Cultural Center between 2019 to 2021. And then he was posted to the Bangalore office. So, but then ICCR was functioning in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. And once the sir took over, that was merged and whole of South India operations came under his fold. To share the extent of work done by ICCR, we should know what ICCR is, all right. So, India attracts foreign students recently for its UG, PG research and even certifications and short cultural programs also. So, India administers over 3,000 scholarships and 21 schemes for students from 100 countries world over. Of these 21 schemes, 6 schemes are especially executed by Indian Council for Cultural Relations, which is supported by Ministry of External Affairs and Ministry of Ayush. ICCR promoted A2A portal. It was a completely digitalized platform to connect all the well-ranked institutions in the country to the probable international learners, thus giving every institution in India a fair opportunity to present themselves and their courses like equally, without having any bias in representing the institutions. So that was a very efficient system that was administered by ICCR, and Bharathiar University is one such beneficiary of this program. Every student who comes through the ICCR program is completely funded by the Government of India, Ministry of External Affairs, for their studies and their stay. The way we are vested with the responsibility of showing them the culture of India, the heritage and the proficiency of our research and academics to the foreign learners. Thus, the students from the developing and underdeveloped nations, they have a great opportunity to be here with you among the learned teachers of Indian universities and learning what is happening in the country. That way, ICCR promotes culture of India through hosting Indian cultural programs abroad. They identify Indian talents and they showcase the talents abroad, and they also bring talents from other countries to show us to India. So the operations of ICCR is too vast, and being a South Zone head, Shri Pradeep sir, he has lots and lots to do. Having sir for a day session in the university means he has few countries, males and heads waiting for him to address. And now we have his time for us here. Thank you for your time, sir. It was a wonderful opportunity having you here. Dear children, India is no more like a receiver. It is now a provider. During these conferences, you have the responsibility of learning more, understanding more, documenting more, and making your knowledge available to the whole world. And that way, we are happy to have Dr. John Shekhar sir, Amasus, and Dr. S. Balakrishnan sir, and our mentor faculty, Dr. R. Chakravarti, and all the eminent guests from other institutions and the presenter from other institutions. It was a pleasure being here, and it is always a visual and auditory treat to be in the Department of English and Foreign Languages. Best wishes in all your endeavors. Thank you.
Professor and Head, Dr. Nagaraj, Dr. Pardeep Kumar, Director, ICCR, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Kasirajan, Mentor Professor and my friend, Dr. Chakravarti, other dignitaries on the days, of the days, faculty friends, scholars, participants, and student friends. Good morning to all of you. It is given as a special speaker. I'm not a special speaker, an ordinary speaker, close friend of the department. Professor Nagaraj has already set the ball rolling about the conference through his extensive introduction come welcome address. And we are all awaiting the inaugural address by Dr. Sendil Nathan from Bharathiar University. So I don't want to stand in between what has been already over and what's going to come, except by saying, by emphasizing the importance of the international conference that is being conducted today and tomorrow. At the outset, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Nagaraj and Dr. Balakrishnan on having organized this two-day hybrid international conference. In collaboration with, true to the spirit of the theme of the conference, ICCR and GANDHI SMRITI representing the Government of India, and BODHI International Journal. on a topic which is very interesting to all of us, something that we cannot deny, as it was emphasized by Dr. Nagaraj. We are living in a changing world, that we have to accept it. The world is changing, and we are also changing the world. And the content and curriculum of English studies is also changing. So we are all living in a changing world, and the proof of the pudding is in eating. The English studies, which has been part of traditional humanities, which is more than 2,000 years old, is changing now. And where is the proof? We have new types of humanities. One is digital humanities, the other one is energy humanities, third, environmental humanities. You have the latest humanities called blue humanities. So traditional humanities is being challenged. Man is no longer at the center of the universe. Man alone is no longer having agency and autonomy. We have to recognize other beings in the world. And English studies, which began as a monodisciplinary subject 100 years ago, has become truly multidisciplinary. So we have language, literature, history, philosophy, and culture. Textually and academically, we are dealing with different world cultures represented in literary texts. And thanks to Dr. Nagaraj's effort, now we have Dr. Bharathiar amidst us, who is representing how living world cultures can interact with each other. And I think that at least I have no shame to admit that for the first time, I learned from Dr. Nagaraj that there is a council called the Indian Council for Cultural Studies. So people even within academia are not aware of some of the national level councils, and I think that will be the reality with most of the participants also. So friends, there are the aim of this conference is threefold. Number one, it provides a platform for academics, scholars, practicing scholars, student friends to come together to learn something new from the resource persons and plenary speakers on the chosen theme, number one. Number two, many of us have created knowledge, and this is a platform where we are going to share our knowledge with the other faculty, other participants, and we are going to fine-tune our own research findings. So the purpose number one is to learn something new from the speakers. Purpose number two is to share our knowledge, the knowledge that we created with the fellow participants. And more importantly, that is something that will be missing in online participants. I mean, parallelly, the participants online also listening to the proceedings. And some of us are lucky enough to be present here today, and we're going to be here tomorrow also. So the third purpose of such international conference is to have a networking. I think if time permits, many of you can have some time talking to the director here and learn more about Indian Council for Cultural Relations, and you can talk to the faculty members of the well-performing department of this great university about what's happening here in this university. Above all, number of institutions are conducting conferences, but Department of English and Foreign Languages, Bharathiar University is unique in the sense, the conference is unique in the sense that we have already published at the beginning of this inaugural function, we already published a journal special volume with 26 articles, and we plan to publish at least 4 more volumes. Each volume will carry 25 articles, and we already received about 26 plus 50, about 75 articles we already received, and we are plagiarism checking those articles. And in the course of time, we will be publishing volume 2, 3, 4, and 5 also. God willing, I think we'll have another small function over here in this campus, and we will release those volumes. So writing articles is one thing, presenting articles with the manuscript with the audience is another thing. Disseminating our knowledge to a wider scholarly community through publication is another thing. That's the most important thing. Many institutions are conducting conferences, but that is the beginning and that is the end. But we have not done that. Our end of the conference is to bring your knowledge to the knowledge of the wider scholarly community. So we assure you that all the articles that you have submitted and the articles that you are proposed to submit, we had a pre-conference workshop on writing skills some 2 months ago, and I believe that we are expecting about 100 articles from our own department. This is not happening anywhere in the host institution will be conducting, that's the thing. Whereas here it is not like that, no, even students, scholars are encouraged to make their own publication. So end of the day, before they leave the portals of this department, they will have their name print. That's the greatest achievement that student scholars are going to see. Nowadays, we never did it. I started publishing only after becoming an assistant professor. No one spoke about international conference, no one talk about conferences, no one talk about the publication. But I really thank the Department of English and Foreign Languages and its SAGET for having created an ideal platform for all of us to come together, to share our knowledge, to learn things new, and get our knowledge also published through journals. With these few words, I wish the conference a huge success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Department of English and Foreign Languages specializes in areas such as using cognitive approaches to literature, ethnic and cultural studies, and memory studies. He has published in 11 international journals and has also guided around 32 MPhil graduates. Sir, we would like you to introduce Dr. Sendil Nathan, who will be joining us online. He is a Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center Director, UGC, Professor of Educational Technology, Bharathiar University, Tiruchi, to the gathering.
Thank you. Respected dignitaries on the stage and off the stage, respected faculty members from various institutions, participants, scholars and students. It is indeed a great privilege to introduce the resource person for the inaugural address. It is Dr. S. Sendil Nathan, Director, Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center, Bharathiar University. And he is also the Professor of Department of Educational Technology, Bharathiar University. And Sir is specializing in the fields of educational technology, e-learning, educational multimedia, ICT in education, e-content development, and ELT, English language teaching. And he has also served as consultant for Commonwealth of Learning at Canada, and also he has completed a project with UNESCO. And he is the expert member of National Resource Center, Ministry of Education, with the Central University of Kerala. And he is the member of editorial board of various journals. He has completed research projects, and he is performing so many administrative roles with the university and also with the colleges affiliated to Bharathiar University. And I hope he will be the suitable person to throw light on the conference that we are having today. On behalf of all the dignitaries, on behalf of all the participants, I invite Dr. S. Sendil Nathan to deliver his inaugural address. Welcome you, sir.
I request Dr. Pardeep Kumar to give us a small address.
From the people there in the hall, whether I'm audible to them. Yes, sir. So, Ms. Priscilla, we'll just wait for a minute.
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please go on, sir.
Yes, sir. Ms. Mishra, I'm audible to you all for the online participants.
Yes, sir. I'm an online participant.
Yeah,
sir.
just wait for a second. I'm just confirming from the people in the hall
Okay, sir.
whether
Thank
I'm
you.
audible to them.
Audible, sir. Audible, sir. Sir, audible, sir.
I'm audible, Padmanabhan?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Fine, right? Okay. So can I just start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So esteemed dignitaries of Bharathiar University, the BODHI International Journal, and the officials from the Indian Council of Cultural Research, Ministry of External Affairs, and of course the delegates from different institutions. A very pleasant morning to every one of you. I deem it a great pleasure as well as privilege to associate myself with this international event on reimagining English language, literature, and culture in a changing world. In fact, all of us know and all of us realize that this is a changing world, and already a mention has been made. And when I reflected upon this idea of reimagining, no doubt ever since the humanity evolved, people have always been thinkers, doers, and learners. They are and they will continue to be. And it has been a great learning for all people, learning for life, learning through life, learning throughout life, what we call as lifelong learning. And all of us know for sure that such exploration has resulted in a lot of new knowledge, so much so that we call this as a knowledge era, and where the dynamics of knowledge are changing. And there are two broad points that are always realized. One is the doubling of knowledge in its size, and the half shelf life of knowledge. Any literature on this will throw light on this, how knowledge is doubling in itself, in its size, the exponential growth of knowledge, leading to new frontiers of study, exploration, research. And parallelly, the validity of knowledge is getting reduced, the half shelf life of knowledge. Like any other thing having a shelf life, knowledge also has a shelf life. The difference is that in the past 20 plus 25 years, the shelf life of knowledge has gone by 50% less. And all that I would like to tell you is that when we look at the aspects of knowledge age or knowledge era, I'm coming down to imagination slowly. And we all know how, the growth of science through transdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary research has led to new areas of knowledge. Biology was earlier different, chemistry was different. Now, biochemistry came, biotechnology came, biomedical engineering came, and commerce joining hands with electronic technologies become e-commerce. So that way, it has been exponentially growing. And this type of knowledge, no doubt, has a kind of a symbiotic relationship with imagination. When we talk about the idea of knowledge versus imagination, knowledge is always limited, we know. But imagination is only limited by the imaginer's ability to visualize. It is imagination, the power to create scenarios in the mind by asking the questions, why, what if, that has enabled great discoveries, inventions in human history. Let it be the invention of electricity or aeroplane or the internet or creation of a Disneyland or iPod or Google, whatever is that. It's all about the questions. And if I have to quote Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all we know and understand. So knowledge is limited to all we know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand. So as such, knowledge is all about the past, and imagination is about the past, present, and future. So it is the questioning, again, I go back to the question. The innumerable likelihoods gradually from asking the question why and start thinking in terms of what if. And it is there with the question, what if the imagination comes? And what if lies holds limitless possibilities to imagine some things that have never been thought or before. So now this is the era of reimagination. That's how Dr. Nagaraj has coined reimagining English language, literature, and culture. So language, any language for that matter, is reimagined. And no doubt, literature is reinterpreted, language is recreated, culture is revisited. Even conferences are reimagined. Now you have, after the pandemic, you have online, offline, blended, hybrid, multiple varieties. Sometimes, right, having all the elements of both, the plus of one thing and the minus of other thing matched together. So that way, reimagining is something of greater importance. When it comes to the language of English, its literature, and the culture associated with it. When we look at these variables, language, literature, and culture, in a changing world, no doubt intrinsically they are connected with human life. And the human life is continuously on the change, where we always have the dictum, only change is changeless. And any aspect of human life is subjected to continuous change. No doubt language also and literature also reflects in the same way. And David Crystal, he talks about English and different varieties of English as Englishes. As the language of English adopts as well as adapts, ADOPT as well as ADAPT. Any language actually reflects the local interests, native history, and local happenings. And in tune with the culture within which it is rooted, the literature and language keeps emerging in new shapes. We know that. You can imagine going back to 400 years, right? The American English, how it evolved. And subsequent to the evolution, several Englishes, Indian English, Spanish English, Canadian English, all these different Englishes, have led to a kind of a paradox now. And the paradox and parody of the status of English today is something of interest. The natives become foreigners and foreigners become natives. We are a native to Indian English, and a native speaker in real terms is a foreigner to Indian English. Similarly, for that matter, Pakistani English or Sri Lankan English or any other English for that matter. So the new forms of Englishes, where, the foreign language, it becomes foreign language to natives. And, this is the way that it is emerging. And, the new varieties that are coming up. I was just interacting with a couple of my friends here with regard to the language that has grown. The thin lines that are now shaping up between American, British, and other varieties of language. Even for that matter, there was a small point made by one of my colleagues, how the Indianism of present continuous tense. Strict English, we will not say I'm loving it, but we use it. We have been using for quite some time. And now the McDonald's slogan is I'm loving it. The American English adopts an Indian, the so-called Indianism of present continuous tense. All that I would like to highlight here, plurality and inclusivity, are the trends of language, culture, and literature. It is in this context that, wider dialogue among people coming from different fields of English language, literature, and cultural studies. Kani Moli, madam, can you mute your mic, please? Yeah. Is necessary here. Already sir has pointed out the trends, how from literature to humanities, and the different varieties of humanities, digital humanities, environmental, blue, medical, and spatial studies, feminist, gender and queer studies, post-humanism, many new areas and avenues for research, exploration, and research. And I'm sure a conference of this nature with people's participation from different places, different areas of research will provide a very fertile ground for interactions. Sir also has pointed out the third dimension, the important focus is here the networking. Through networking, collaboration, and constructive discussions, you will explore new territories of knowledge, unexplored territories of knowledge. And of course, you will continue to do that with the network that you create here. So it is in this context that I would like to mention that though there is a kind of a feeling that among academicians that, the research part of the social sciences, humanities, languages is not up to the expectations of what it should be. It is beyond comparison at the international level. But all that I would like to highlight is that instead of saying that our research is not at par with international levels, funding schemes are not there, and especially for social sciences, humanities, right? I think it is time for us to think positively as to how best we can enhance the quality of research, especially bringing in very vital aspects of multidisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity, cross-disciplinarity, and transdisciplinarity. In fact, Sir also was mentioning earlier how language studies, research into literature have really become multidisciplinary these days. You find people of journalism, people of culture studies, right, psychology, philosophy, right, studying a lot of literatures. In fact, it is not that there is a kind of a clear demarcation between science, technology, engineering, and literature and humanities. The very great poet Bharathiar, whose name the university carries, himself, right, has had a kind of a symbiotic, established a symbiotic relationship between literature and scientific advancement very, very early. To quote one of his poems in Tamil, others may not understand, maybe I will translate, right? Vana yalappom, kadal meena yalappom, sandira madalathiyal kandu thelivom. That was a kind of a vision that he had. A great prophetic words. He predicted the type of advancement that will happen in Indian science in terms of astronomy, right? Chandra mandalathiyal kandu thelivom, right? He said, we will explore and learn. We will master kandu thelivom, right? We will master astronomy. We will master astronomical sciences. Okay? So, and how a field like astronomy is very heavily influenced by physics, electronics, space technologies, and today bioscience, right? People have seen the germination of a seed, right? So biological science research will happen on, right, in the space. So, what I'm trying to say here is that the very name of the university is Bharathiar University. Right? He himself, several decades back, right, could establish the kind of relationship between literature and science, engineering, and humanities. So that way, all that is expected of modern researchers, today's researchers, is that type of a cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary thinking. And I'm sure this event will provide the platform necessary for such collective thinking. And I'm sure the event will give you a lot of takeaways and a lot of take-home values. And in terms of networking, contacts, and of course, new avenues for exploration. With this brief note, let me profusely thank Dr. Nagaraj, my good friend, and the university authorities, Dr. Lavlina Madam, I don't know whether she's there on the stage, and other members of the syndicate and the organizing team for inviting me to give this brief inaugural address. And I'm sure the participants will really have a very happy conferencing these 2 days and immensely benefit from this event. And it will shape your academic thinking and literary research, at least for quite a few years to come ahead, right? So thank you, dear friends. I wish every one of you a very happy conferencing. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for making us understand that. Thank you, sir, for your wise words, and thank you for making us understand how imagination can be boundless, and also the importance of research quality in a changing world, that we need to progress further in terms of research when it comes to the global stage. Thank you once again, sir. Next, we have our guest, Director Dr. Pardeep Kumar, with a short presentation for us. Sir, we'd like you to invite you to the dais.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. Nagaraj, distinguished guests, participants. First of all, I would like to say thanks, Bharati University and Dr. Nagaraj, to inviting me today. I will share a few words about how the Indian Council for Culture Relation promoting the culture globally and in the education system, which ICCR is handling. The Indian Council for Culture Relation, established in 1950, under the administrative control of the Ministry of External Affairs, which was set up in 1950 by the first Education Minister, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, with the overall mandate to promoting Indian culture abroad and furthering culture ties with the rest of the world. Its activities encompass culture, academic and intellectual exchanges and promotion of India's culture abroad through various exchanges, outreach activities on subjects like Indian art, history, oral tradition, dance, music, yoga, food, festivals, and contemporary issues. ICCR in India delivers through its 11 zonal offices and sub-zonal offices and regional passport offices. And globally, we have 38 Indian culture centers. These centers serve as important culture hubs and work closely with the Indian embassy and missions abroad. The Indian Cultural Center organizes a wide range of activities and events, including culture performances, art exhibition, lectures, workshops, film screening, and language classes. These events showcase the rich culture heritage of India and facilities cross-culture interactions. The Council deployed India-based performing art teachers in the field of Bharatanatyam, Kathak, Odissi, Hindustani vocal, Carnatic vocal, Tabla and Hindi language, and also Sanskrit language. ICCR opened first chair in Chulalongkorn University in 1994, Sanskrit chair, and Professor Satyavrat Sastri was deputed there. In Sanskrit history, people say he was the Bhisham Pitama. And the Rajkumari, Princess Siren Dorn, she learned the Sanskrit from Satyavrat Sastri ji. She was also the student that time. ICCR also establishes chairs in different universities with MOU with that universities, and we depute professors also there. now we established chairs with our missions of Indian studies, political science, philosophy, history, sociology, economics, Buddhist studies, law, and Indian language, Sanskrit and Hindi. As on today, we have 52 chairs in different universities globally. Now comes to the education system. Government of India offers scholarship to foreign nationals to study in India. At a time, we have around 6,000 plus students they are studying in India. And out of that 2,500, they are studying only in southern region. Maximum students studying in the Andhra University. After, because they got chances to come to India, and government of India is offering scholarship to all, like Bangladesh we offer 500 scholarship. Afghanistan earlier we offer 1,000, but after Taliban taken over, presently we have given them 1,000 online courses. They can study online and get the degree from Indian universities. Some of the selected universities we have, like IGNU and Anna University. So there is also maximum slot utilized by the, but due to their internet problem in their country, maximum people they join and they quit because they don't have a facility in their country, online facility and internet connection. You know, maximum students, they study in here, when they go back to their country, they get higher position. Some are justice, some are in minister, maximum they become the ambassador also in their country. Recently one student from Kerala University, he came here for PhD course, political science. The course is 5 years and a half. But he finished his course within 2 years and 10 months, and he went back to his country. So he called me, he said, I'm going to get the position, minister or maybe the ambassador. They give actually due respect to Indian universities. When they get the degree from Indian university, it is recognized worldwide. And maximum students from Bangladesh, when they get the degree from Indian university, immediately they get the scholarships to other countries, UK, America, because it is a respect of the Indian university that worldwide we get it. Apart from these regular activities, we also organize big festivals, and we send our Indian troops to other country, and we invite the other country troops to perform in India. Tamil Nadu government, we have already done MOU, but we are waiting the reply from this side so that we can divert some culture to these regions. I am here only not this for, but I am meeting some artists also. So in future, we may organize any festival in collaboration with ICCR and university, and we invite the senior most artists from maybe Delhi or anywhere in India, or maybe the visiting foreign culture to the university to perform here. With these words, I would like to say thanks to Bharathiar University and Dr. Nagaraji for inviting me. And there are more things are there, so please go through our website. If you are a professor, you have more chances. If you want to explore, you want to work in other university as a government representative. So time to time we announce the vacancies in these fields, and many fields, Hindi we also, Sanskrit also, She said, if you are working in a professor, you will get the leave from here. And this is a lifetime opportunity you can teach there. For 2 years we post. And the participant also, please go to our website and check. ICCR is globally recognized and many chances are there. You will be the part of the culture diplomacy one day. Thank you, Dr. Nagaraj, and thank you all for your work. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank Sir, Department of English and Foreign Languages, Bharathiar University, specializes in English language teaching, tribal studies, and literary theory and criticism. She holds expertise in teaching health humanities, research methodology, and romantic literature. Ma'am, we request you to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Gracious morning to all the dignitaries, all the delegates and scholars and students who have gathered here. I deem it a privilege and responsibility to deliver vote of thanks for this international conference. Though delivering vote of thanks at the end of an inaugural event, at this moment, at the end of a beginning, may seem like a paradox. It feels like what has begun with a lot of anticipation needs to be paused, needs to be reflected with gratitude, only to continue into deeper conversations and learning engagements. With that note, I would like to acknowledge and extend our sincere thanks to our revered chief guest, the Director, Indian Council for Cultural Relations, Sri Pardeep Kumar sir, to be here, to be amidst us today. It is an absolute honor to have you with us, sir. As was already said in the introduction, the association between ICCR and Bharathiar University Center for International Affairs has been quite valuable in fostering the academic exchange. And your decision to be here with us, despite of your demanding schedules, it is truly rewarding. We believe that times where the very presence of people could bring a lot of grace and glory, I'm sure that your presence have brought that inaugural charm to our conference. Thank you for your time, your insights, and your continuous support. Thank you. I would also like to place on record our immense gratitude to Professor Dr. Sendilnathan sir, Director of UGC MMTTC Bharathiar University, Trichy, who has joined us online and delivered a beautiful inaugural address. As we heard, you have already heard in the introduction, a distinguished academician he is, and he has been closely acquainted with our department since the inception. He shares a special bond of friendship with our head of the department, and within the brief span, we have heard the range of sheer ideas that he could come up with, from decoding the title from astronomy to biosciences. He has ranged the ideas to different realms and decoded the demarcation of the discipline between language and literature. And as someone who has attended his sessions since post-graduation days, I feel his sessions are non-repetitive and quite relevant to the current time. So despite of even he used to have very rigid schedules, despite of that he has joined us. I am not sure whether he is here, but I extend our gratitude to him in absentia. And next, I take the opportunity to extend our gratitude to Professor Dr. John Shaker, former professor and head of English department, the American College, Madurai. As many of you know, the association that we department have with sir is relatively recent, but his presence has quickly become a part of our department. Long before, I had the privilege of knowing him from some of his students who were my friends. We knew his contributions both as a teacher and as an author. He has written 19 books, which is an ardent task. And our students have also got benefited with his writing workshops and insightful lectures in the previous occasions. He is a mentor, a guide to the department, and his presence, particularly in this conference, is quite crucial. We appreciate your time and effort, sir, and thank you for being a mentor and part of this academic journey. Just as we deeply value the presence of Professor John Shaker, We are equally privileged to have with us Dr. Chakravarti, our mentor professor of department, someone whom we look upon with highest regard, not just for his scholarship, but for his unshakable attitude and for his intellectual honesty. Personally, I have immense admiration for his daring spirit, for his fearless attitude. In a world that constantly nudges you to be somebody else, he is unapologetically real and brutally honest, and all rooted in logic. So I feel he is in every sense the embodiment of what a true literature professor should be. I see myself wishing if I were his student when I was in my literature classes. So thank you, sir, for being here today to be a part of the organizing committee and being a striving support for us in this academic journey. I extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Balakrishnan in absentia, the managing editor of BODHI Journal, and also his dedicated team for their partnership, for the wonderful coordination and the timely updates, and the meticulous planning and the collaborative spirit. I extend our gratitude to our head of the department, who stands as a strong pillar of support, Dr. P. Nagaraj sir, in everything we do. His guidance and his trust in giving us the freedom to work is actually empowering. And more than anything, his leadership and the guidance that he gives is actually, the reason for this conference. Thank you, sir. I also extend my thanks to Dr. Bharani in absentia, the advisor of CIA. She has given a clear introduction to ICCR and the activities of the body. And in absentia, I thank her. She is also an integral part of our department. I would also like to acknowledge the coordinators, the members of CIA, Dr. Sadashivam, Dr. Vijayan, Dr. Arul Sami, and all the other members of CIA. They have stood with us, with the department at every milestone, and today is no exception. I also take a moment to thank the organizing secretary, our good friend, my colleague, Dr. Kasirajan sir. He has been preparing for this conference since a month, more than a month. His relentless efforts, from all the preparation to, the last minute challenges, I think he has beautifully handled it. And this event would not have been possible without him. Thank you, sir, for your commitment and dedication. I extend my sincere thanks to all our faculty members, Dr. B. Padmanabhan, Dr. G. Vinod Kumar, Dr. R. David Arputaraj, our visiting faculty member, Dr. Anu Chandran, for their presence and continuous support. I extend our gratitude to Gandhi SMRITI Darshan Samiti New Delhi for collaborating with us. The coordinator, Dr. Vedabhyas Kundu, who is very close to our department. We've been associating with him on different occasions. He has extended his greetings to you, sir, and to all the members here. So I express our gratitude to the GSDS team. I also acknowledge the presence of Sumati ma'am from Kongunadu Arts and Science College, Neelakandan sir, who are all close acquaintances of the department. Thank you for your presence and time. Finally, I owe it all to all my research scholars and students. This is their day, because any event, they are the true backbone of the department, their enthusiasm and energy and the dedication, which is so contagious. So thank you all for your hard work, the different committees we've divided ourselves, and all the teams, teamwork, the team spirit. This is quite, engaging. So I wish you all a productive and meaningful learning, and to all the delegates who have come from different parts of the state, a wonderful stay on our campus. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. We are indeed grateful for all the people who have graced us with their presence here today. Now we'll have a short break, and we will gather here again for the keynote address. Refreshments are being served outside in the
by Dr. Rajneesh Dhawan. He is an associate professor of English at the University of Fraser Valley, Canada. He teaches classical literature, South Asian literature, and creative writing. His research interests include Sanskrit and Greek drama and dramatic theory, South Asian diaspora literature, modern drama, sitcoms, and many more of eco-criticism. Dr. Rajneesh is also a creative writer with the commendable credits in multiple genres. He has also written scripts for 3 television series and 5 documentaries. His plays have been performed at various venues in Canada. His maiden novel, Amistar, 1919, has been published in Hindi and Punjabi. It is also translated into English. Sir, we honorably ask you to deliver the keynote address.
Well, thank you. I didn't get the name of the person who was introducing me, but can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My name is
Am I
Jehilin.
audible?
Thank
Can
you,
you
sir.
hear
Thank
me?
you for joining us today. And my name is Jehilin.
Could you repeat that, please?
My name is Jehilin.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. It's rather late here in Canada, so and I can see that you guys are running late as well. So I will. I just decided that I'll just skip over a little of a technical aspect of it and just focus on the more conversational aspect of the address. Since your the theme is reimagining English language, literature, and culture. It's a rather wide theme, so it's kind of hard to make a concise keynote that would cover it sufficiently. I will just start from a couple of examples that I recently had when I was teaching South Asian literature here at my university. I had planned on a bunch of books, but then I just received a notification that I should turn on my camera so that you guys can see me. Okay. So now that you can see me as well, I can't see any of you. Why don't you guys turn on your cameras so that I can see you? Right? It should be reciprocal. Anyway, something very interesting happened last semester. Am I audible now? I think why is this thing saying that? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir, you are
Seems to be
audible.
Am I audible now? No, it's not. It's again
Yes, sir, you are
going in and
audible.
out.
You are audible, sir.
I'm audible? Okay. So, last semester, I was teaching a course in South Asian literature after a pretty long time, actually. And there was a book that somehow couldn't become available in time. And on the spur of the moment, at the last moment, I prescribed R.K. Narayan's translation of the Mahabharata. I was scared that will the student population here be able to comprehend the complexity of the epic, although the epic is 100,000 verses long, as you guys know, but R.K. Narayan's translation is about 200 odd pages. But still, it's a very complex narrative. But I was really surprised at the way it was received by the Canadian student. And right at the very big opening chapter, there were 2 questions that popped up, which will sort of make, give me a direction for this talk. So, imagine you guys are aware of Mahabharata because it is an Indian epic, the largest epic in the world. At the opening of the epic, there is a scene between the king Shantanu, where he is proposing marriage to Ganga. And Ganga says that, okay, I will accept your proposal, but I have one condition. And that condition being that you will not ask me any question. Whatever I do, my choice is, you will not ask me any questions. And the same Shantanu later on when he's proposing marriage to Satyavati, who is the daughter of a fisherman, the fisherman puts a condition that, you know what, Mr. King, you can marry my daughter, but I have a condition that her child will become your heir or the next king. Now, these two examples, when my students, most of them Canadian born white students, when they read it, they were baffled because keep in mind, they're mature students. They have had a lot of, experience in academia by this time. So the first question was, how is a woman having such agency in this classical epic that she can say, you will not ask me any question, whatever I do, and the king accedes to her request? And secondly, how is a upper caste king, a Kshatriya, going to a so-called supposedly low caste person who is a fisherman and asking her hand, because according to their understanding of the Indian system, the upper caste people will never get married to low caste people. They were baffled at the very beginning. And then there were so many other examples. For instance, when Karna is made king on the spot by Duryodhan, despite the fact that he is the son of a chariot driver. And then again, like they say, we were given under the impression that only people from the upper caste could become kings. How did he become king? So that is where I started to sort of decolonize their mind in terms of understanding our literature. Now we're going to put a pin on this for a moment. These two examples, I will come back to them, why I refer to them in the beginning. But coming to the idea or the theme of the conference, reimagining English language and literature in the changing world. Now that's also a very important phrase in the topic, changing world. So should we start at the very beginning in writing in English? I don't want to go into that, everybody, but how about the first big three, Raja Rao and R.K. Narayan? R.K. Narayan was my favorite of all three. But we all know Raja Rao's quotation at the beginning of his novel, when he says that, in his prologue, he says that we Indians should develop their own style of writing rather than writing like the English. And Mulk Raj Anand, in his Untouchable, used kind of a rhythm which is very, very Punjabi in its essence, although he's using the language Punjabi in its essence, although he's using the language which is English. R.K. Narayan, he used the nuances of English language to convey the subtleties of human existence. This trio of writers, they were very honest, I would say. They were honest, and they were not writing for any market. They were not writing for awards. They were writing, they were expressing the very Indianness of their writing in a language which was not their own. However, that, when we are talking about reimagination here, we moved away from that post-independence. Whether it was market generated, whether it was the fact that somehow our education system did not promote the idea of using the Indianness through the use of this language. And we continued, even today, when I studied, when I did my MA here, the emphasis on Indian writing in English was very little. Most of it was, again, and I'm not discounting the great writers of the West, but we are reimagining stuff right now, right? So if we are reimagining, then what are we going to reimagine? Are we going to think about the use of vocabulary now? Are we stuck somewhere? When I come to India, I feel that our academia is still stuck in a sort of a puritanical way of reading and writing. And still uh, in that mind frame of considering the Indian writing, whether it's in any language, somewhat inferior to the Western classics. Western classics are great, so are ours. But how do we reimagine? How do we evolve from here? That is something that I started thinking when I was looking at this topic. Reimagining use of vocabulary, use of grammar, use of syntax. Is there time? Is it now? Is it are we at that juncture where we need to start reimagining those? That there's a paradox there again, because on the one hand there is a body of scholars who think that we should move away from the conventional structures. Uh, for them, the conventional English language patterns and structures are rooted in the idea of colonialism. So there's no harm in moving away from them. At the same time, we are faced with artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT and that promote the use of same structure. Grammarly, I don't know if how popular Grammarly has become. We have a lot of problem here. Students using a lot of these AI and ChatGPT but at the same time, the thing is, if Grammarly is popular, is it popular because students are scared that they can't use the structures, so they're using AI tools for the structures? And will we be the last people to care about it? What about the next generation, when they will become professors and they will have had sufficient exposure with ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, and other things? Will they really care about the structures that we are so passionately defending? So now let's reimagine the ideas here now. So language and thought, and by implication, literature and culture. I'll just take a little bit of time just to summarize these things. Decolonization of language. And I did some experiments as a writer, and that's what my primary passion is. I'm a creative writer. I like to write in multiple genres. And when I came to Canada in 2009, I had to sort of reinvent the wheel. I had to restart my creative journey here. And I remember the first play that I ever wrote was called Once Upon a Time in Canada, not Canada, Canada. It's a Punjabi version of saying Canada. It was a story of some immigrants in the early part of the 20th century, and one of them gets arrested on false accusation of stealing, and that it was based on a historical narrative. So now the story dealt with a bunch of people from Punjab living in Canada, and they were not allowed to bring their family. So they're all men. They work manual labor, hard work, and come back in the evening, have some fun. They sing and dance. And now when they are singing, this was my first experiment in I'll see if I can find it, uh, in writing a Punjabi form of like, and I was scared. Will it go? Will people follow? But they did. So let me read a couple of them to you. And when I say we are reimagining something, what I actually mean by that. So there's something called, in Punjabi we have a pattern of singing called boliyan. So unison, one person starts and other person join in, and then at the end of it, they all clap and dance with that. So I used that rhythm and used my own language, and also with these boliyan also deal with the everyday life of the people. It could be cultural aspects, or in this case, now you may not try to get the words here. The words are English. There's some Punjabi here, but the words are English. The words are English, but the rhythm is, and the rhythm and the genre is our own. The rhythm and the genre is our own. My name is, so it will go, my name is Santa Singh. I the Gora, see my name. He thinks I am Santa Christmas wala tut pehne Santa ne menu banata giftan wala. So it's like that musical rhythm in that, the rhythm in that. The idea is that his name is Santa Singh, Santa, but a white man. The idea is that his name is Santa Singh, Santa, but a white man he said, oh, you are Santa. So Santa becomes Santa, and that's the idea of using a very, I don't know if it's popular in South India or not, but in North India we have a very popular festival called Rakhi. A brother and sister ties up on a brother's wrist. So I use that aspect of emotion in my play, the element of Rakhi between an Indian man and a Canadian woman, and how and wove that into the whole narrative. Again, this sounds simple now, but when I was making these plays, I was scared because my audience was majorly, white audience, Canadian audience, and I wasn't aware that the cultural ethos or the experiment with the language that I'm doing, will it be transferred to them the way I want it to? So it was a challenging experiment. I was scared, I would say, but it was received quite well. The shows, my shows went houseful, all of them, and one of them has been published now. So we in India, I feel, are scared that if we bring in our own linguistic patterns, we bring in our own linguistic structures in the language which is English, maybe the audience will not accept it. And this is where I want to go back to the trio that I was talking about, Raja Rao, R.K. Narayan, and Murthy. They were not scared of that. Raja Rao was not scared of using the cyclical narratives to write Kantapura. Mulk was not scared of literally translating Punjabi swear words into English when he was writing Untouchable. And R.K. Narayan was not scared of using a very Indian way of talking. Let's say that, for example, Swami and his father's conversation, or any of his characters, they sound very, very Indian. This is where I feel we departed from this aggressive stance of the should I call them founding fathers of English literature in India, the three of them. I love all of them. As we moved into the more market-generated, market-oriented writing, when I see the writing that is coming out in English in India right now, it's not aimed at the general market. It's not aimed at the people who would appreciate it's aimed at those. So okay, let me look at it this way. You might have read Amish, his Shiva trilogy. If you read that, it is not something that a man on the street would enjoy. It is aimed at for the elite. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Elite. Or sons or children of the elite who are willing to pay some money, so that even the young adult fiction that's coming out, it's hardly anything coming out, but whatever is coming out is targeted at a specific market, which means that we are continuing with the idea that Macaulay presented, that this language will be of the elite. And my contention is why? We have lived with this language for, when did Thomas Rowe came here? 5 centuries now, almost. Even if you put take Macaulay as the starting point. For almost 2 centuries, we are Indians. We are like sponges. We absorb everything. We make everything our own. So why is English a foreign language still? If Americans can Americanize it, if Australians can, use their own slang, New Zealanders can do that, South Africans can do that, who stops us from using our own slang? Who stops us from making it our own? Why? Once again, not discounting the relevance and importance of the classical writers, not at all. At the same time, we need to make it our own. If we are reimagining it, what is stopping us? I'll tell you what is stopping us. Still the colonized mindset. You see, all the 4 countries that I mentioned, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, America, okay, add Canada to that as well. 5 countries, although they are no longer British colonies, but they are dominated by white population. Not South Africa technically, but the language aspect is still dominated by the English language aspect. So when they do it, it's acceptable. When we, the non-white, do it, then it becomes a subject of mockery. That is my problem. This is where the reimagination from the Indian scholars need to come about. There is a character in a show called Simpsons. It's a animation show. The character is called Apu, and now think about it, how ridiculous it is. Apu's voice was given by a white guy. The white guy imagined how an Indian speaks English, and he gave Apu an accent. That accent became universally accepted as an Indian accent. You see the paradox here? First of all, India, I don't have to tell you, but just for the sake of argument, 22 official languages, 41 unofficial languages, thousands of dialects. How can we have one accent? But there's a universalized Indian accent, within quotes, I would say, was created by a white guy through a character of Apu, and we accept it. Not only do we accept it, Russell Peters makes jokes about it, Trevor Noah makes jokes about it, and we accept it. So when we are reimagining, we are on the defensive. And we cannot reimagine anything by being on the defensive. If the South Indians speak English in a particular way, we need to own it. And if North Indians speak it in a particular way, we need to own it. Like the Australians own it, like the New Zealanders own it, like the Americans own it. America has 50 states, they have 50 different accents, they all own that. We are still not owning it. So this is the time, I think, we need to own this language. Stop calling it a foreign language. It is one of our languages. We have many languages, and we love our languages. That's the beauty of living in India. Everybody is by default a multilingual person. So we have that privilege. All right. So this idea of this being a foreign language, that is reimagination number one for me. And when we make it our own language, then the literature that comes to the next second part, the literature will start reflecting our own ethos. We'll start reflecting our own ethos, and for that, we will now have to reconnect with our tradition from where we have been disconnected. And once we start reconnecting, now look at this. Now I come back to the example I shared with my students here, when they questioned this king wanting to marry a woman from so-called low caste, because this is the limited understanding of caste relations that have been conveyed to them, sadly, by us. And we conveyed it to them because we got disconnected from our own tradition thanks to the colonization. Chandragupta Maurya, the grandfather of King Ashoka, I'm pretty sure everybody's aware of this fellow. Where did Chanakya find him? Chanakya, a Brahmin, quote unquote Brahmin, picked up this lad when he was managing his, I think, sheep or something. And he saw in him the signs of becoming a king. Where is caste here? There are many references in our classical literature which very clearly say that caste is not by birth. It's what you do. Everyone should aspire to become a Brahmin, is what they say. And that being Brahmin means the highest level of moral and ethical conduct. Not going into that into detail, but we need to accept that tradition. Like Eliot's tradition and individual talent, he talked about the tradition of the Western culture. We are so lucky, we already have that in our system. We already have Shakespeare, we already have Wordsworth, we already have the Browning, we already have Hardy, we already have Chaucer. We have that in our system. Let's add that aspect into our system that was taken away from us because of colonization, and then imagine the richness that we will have in our in the literary output that will come from this country, and accepting the language and experimenting with it. I mean, if Oxford Dictionary can accept emoji as a word, they have no problem with it. Why are we stuck with the Puritanism? So there's no harm in experimenting. There's no harm in word coinage, even if that word is a combination, like the word Hinglish people use, the combination of Hindi and English. There's nothing wrong with that. There's something is wrong with using the word or the suffix Hollywood with the film industry. That kind of angers me. I don't like the word Bollywood or Tollywood or anything. It's a Tamil film industry. We have a great film industry in the south. We have a wonderful film industry in the north. So we should call them what they are. Why are we Hollywoodizing them? This idea of connecting ourselves through the lens of the West, that is for me reimagination. As far as culture is concerned, we are already we have accepted a lot from that, which is nice. There's nothing wrong with that. But as we start developing our own literature in English, and just on a side note, I would say that there's something very weird in our system, in the Indian mindset, that to be well versed in English, you have to. I don't know if it's true in the South. I hope it's not, but in the North, it's a really big deal that you need to stay away from your native language. Like, so don't speak in Hindi, don't speak in Punjabi, speak in English only. Read only English literature. Don't read. You're not being encouraged to read Punjabi or Hindi or North or your vernacular literature. Everything has to be in English. I don't know if the same is true in the South. I hope it's not, but if it is, then I would say it's as bad as it is in the North. We are lucky. I'm repeating, we are lucky that we are multilingual by default. Our brains are ready for multiple languages. Why should we leave one for the other? So we are like our food. We don't eat mashed potatoes. Our food, is full of flavor, multiple spices, and multiple kind of dishes. Indian food is the richest food. I've traveled all over the world. There's nothing as rich and varied as Indian food, and there's nothing as rich and varied as Indian language scene. That is my little, I would say, rant here. I wanted to give you more like critical aspects into it, but we don't have time for that. But generally speaking, if you're reimagining it, let's own the English language. Stop calling it a foreign language. It's our language. Use our own rhythms and structures and patterns, and don't be afraid of using them. Let's not be defensive about it. This is our language and we own it. And yes, and let's start creating literature without being defensive that reflects our own Indianness, the way those three masters did at the beginning. Let's go back to our roots and evolve at the same time. I think I'll have to stop here. It's already almost midnight here, but I'm open to any questions if there are. Thank you so much.
Friends, the forum is open for a question answer session. If you have any questions or remarks, you may go forward. Anyone with questions, remarks?
Professor, this is Dr. John Sager.
Oh, hi, John. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. It was a
Good to hear from you, friend.
wonderful session. You covered all the three
thank you.
major topics plus creative writing. It's really a feast to all of us.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And great to hear from you.
Yeah.
Hopefully see you soon sometime.
Yeah, yeah.
And congratulations on your recent books, man.
Oh, thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So if there aren't any questions, can we wrap it up then?
Thank you, sir, for your session on reimagining literature. You know, most often we hesitate to include Indian elements in our canonical literature, what is supposed to be, as you said, a foreign language in India, English. But we'll be remembered that we had a professor once at a conference and his place went houseful despite of Indian elements in his play for a Canadian audience. Kudos to that. And thank you for letting us aware or may be aware of the fact that this English language, Indian English language, no matter how varied it is, no matter if it's a Telugu person speaking, a Tamil person speaking, or a Hindi one speaking, that we should own this ethos and the language we have. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful session.
Thank you. And have a great conference ahead. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Friends, we have a lunch break from 1 to 2, so you may all have your lunch at our food court. People at the registration desk will give